Ian was educated in the City of Windsor school system and graduated from the University of Windsor in 1973. Ian was an elementary school educator for 30 years. He began his teaching career in September of 1975. 20 years of retirement. Congratulations. Ian retired December 31st, 2004 from the Greater Essex County District School Board. And Ian has spent 17 years of his career at Concord Public Elementary from 1987 through to retirement. During his time at Concord, the Environmental Studies program became a highlight for the students, the parents, and staff. In 1989, Ian created the Habitat 2000 Club at Concord School and organized the adoption of the Little River area in East Windsor. Please join me in welcoming our guest speaker, Ian.
I immigrated to Canada from where I was born, West Hartlepool, Durham County, the UK. And oddly enough, that's the place where the clan started. When you mispronounce my last name, it's okay because there's a lot of variations of it. Naisbitt's the proper way, but Naisbitt comes out all the time, and that's the clan name. So I don't feel bad at all. My mom and I traveled over here in the North Atlantic, and I earned my sea legs. I was seasick, but I've never been seasick since, and I've been on some rough seas, so I think I got treated coming over. We landed in Quebec, and we took the train to Windsor. And it was a long journey, but some of you might remember the train station was at the foot of the lake. And there was a hotel there, the VA Hotel, the British American Hotel. And when we got off the train and my mom was dragging me to wherever, I was young, and the Spirit of Windsor pretty well shows you the kind of locomotive, the vehicle that took us here. And I walked through this cloud of steam and smoke, and the wheels were higher than me, so I was impressed. It left an impression on me. Anyway, I started, oh yeah, you said all that in the beginning, I won't go there. I'm very involved. The reason I didn't come last month was because of this provincially significant wetlands project. There was a student in my room. Her father was with the Ministry of Environment, and I thought I could really get a good environment project from him. The Canadian Wildlife Federation sent out a package, Habitat 2000, do something good today for Habitat in the year 2000. So it just struck me, and I took it home and I read it over a dozen times. And he told me to go to Little River. And what I did is I went there, and I obviously have, if you know any part of it, the sewage treatment plant. That's where I went towards, and grass on one side, grass on the other, trees. Mind you, the water was kind of pea green, but I overlooked that because I looked at that and I thought, oh, geez. You know, I'm glad you guys are going out and cleaning up the neighborhood, but I mean, take a look at that. What would you do? I stood there and I said, oh man, why is it this way? And over the years, I found that Hope Hill, that's a really nice name. And they give it even a nicer name, sanitary landfill site. It's a garbage dump. It is Riverside's garbage dump. And I mean, everything went in there. I know because I took my, there's another garbage, to Blue Heron. They have that beautiful lit area. That's a garbage dump too. We took my buddy's car there and dumped the whole car right off the trailer. They don't do that anymore. All of this rolled down the hill and went in the river. Whoops. Can we get a full screen on this, or is that possible?
Do you want her to go open with slides? Yeah. It doesn't look like it's option then. You don't have,
It would just make it easier, because I'm.
Do you want me to try with docs?
So I went further up the river,
what do you want me to open it
and
with?
I took another
Try it?
picture. And while I was doing that, I saw a lot of dead turtles. Some of the things that teenagers do is go and beat up turtles. Bricks and whatnot. So there's a lot of really bad news for me, because I love nature and I wanted to do something for the environment, and I needed a project anyway. So this is our first volunteer group. I pushed community service. It was a Saturday, and I made the mistake of taking the picture, and everybody was sitting on the garbage. So the next picture I took, I had the garbage. I put the people behind the garbage, so then you see what we did. But it was our first group, and John Muir, the principal, he was right behind this guy in the yellow. John, I went to him and said, I want to take the kids to Little River and clean it up. And we hummed and hawed, and I got to give him credit. He said, okay, let's do that. You know what? In today's world, I don't think I'd have got permission to do that. But I got permission, and this is Al Stevens, by the way. And when you bring kids to a river, you 100%, they're going to go in it. And they did. And we started hauling out the tires and the other junk that was in there. And they were thrilled. They came out, they looked like mud puppies. And I'm sure the shoes and the clothes, I mean, I'm sure some moms and dads didn't appreciate that, but we had moms and dads there, and we didn't get dirty. This one is a classic. I use that photo so many times, and because of this presentation, I found it again. But you'll notice there's no water in the river, and it dries up sometimes, and that makes it very difficult to take the tires out. So these kids, they would go in there and dig them up, basically. You'll see there's holes in here where they dug them out. It was not a pleasant job, but look at it. He's having fun. And I use this, especially when I went to get money, fundraising. This picture probably helped me get that money. There was a time, believe it or not, people would call me and say, we've got some money, we'd like to give it to you to clean up the river. I mean, I've never been in that situation. And I don't think they do much anymore. You got to fill out these gargantuan forms to get money and sign off on all those things. So 2 years later, and 6 cleanups, we got it all cleaned up. Beautiful. There was actually water in it. That was April of '91. It was a great success. So we were, oh yeah, that's right. Great success. So my wife takes me to Detroit to shop at Target stores. He likes to go to stores and walk up and down every aisle. Guys shop different. I need a pair of shoes. I go to the store, get the shoes and go home. Done. It wasn't that way. So Target stores was doing a contest, and I picked up the folder and followed my wife around the store, and I was reading it. Wow, this looks interesting. And I took it home and read that thing over a dozen times. And I decided to enter this contest. It was for 30 groups. And there were 3 things we had to do. We had to provide a piece of artwork. We had to answer 2 questions, and it's been so long, I don't remember them, but obviously we did a good job, because when you won this, you got to go to the United Nations. The United Nations Environment Program teamed up with Target, and they did this contest, and I thought, you know, we could do this. So I had Alex, the guy in the middle. He gave me, you know, kids are nice when you're grade 5 and 6. He gave me a piece of artwork that he designed, Mr. Naisbitt. Here, this is for you. And I looked at it and I, oh wow, he drew a tree and the roots went around the globe. He put a globe there and it went around that, like the tree was protecting the globe. And I thought, gee, thank you very much. And I kept it. And my buddy, his sister, Sue Thompson, was the graphic artist at the Windsor Star. And I asked her to refine it, make it look better. Oh, I don't know about that. Oh, please, I have to talk her into it. And she did, and it came out. So what I did is I put designed by Alex, and I can't remember his last name, and then refined by so-and-so. I give her credit. And I made 3 copies. Beautiful. I can't find any of them. I should have kept one, but I didn't because I must have given them away. I think I gave one to Alex, of course. I said, here, this is yours. And I gave one to the principal when he retired from school. And the other one, don't have a memory of it, but we won. So we're impressed. Wow. I took the kids to Detroit. We flew to New York. They put us in a beautiful hotel and then they fed us all our meals. But the highlight was when each of the kids, were 30 kids, they had a battery pack on, and they had this globe and they had a light in the center of it. And so they darkened the whole hall at the United Nations, and these kids walked, and they must have practiced it a dozen times because it was black. And then these globes came walking down to get to the front. Really impressive. John Denver wrote a song and sang it. You know, he's one of my favorite singers. I thought, hey, this is great. And he took us on a water tour around the island, and it was fantastic. So we come back and we get off the plane. I mean, we're all tired. And I don't know how the Windsor Star contacted me because I might have had a cell phone. But I remember saying, oh man, we're all tired. But they had to meet that press deadline. And so we went there and they had their hats on from the Statue of Liberty. We had a great time, and so the kids shared. I always put the kids up front. If you go to the council meeting and it's just like I'm another talking head, but if you put kids up there that sent the message, all those political types are they are just focused in there, and Tom Wilson would always give us a good thing, and you should be supportive, and they listened, and the mayors always listened to the kids where, oh yeah, it's Ian again. So I use them to the ultimate, and all the projects that we did, I always put them front and center because things happen. This was the first quote that I ran into that fit our group perfect. And since then, I don't know, I just got hooked on these quotes. I sent out stuff and I used this quote and it just seemed to work really well. So I've become a quote collector. I've got hundreds of them. Every time we used to handwrite in the old days, then I typed letters. We used to go to snail mail route. And I used to send letters out. You'd be patient. My clan motto is I bide it. And it means you have patience, you can wait, you can endure. I had to learn that because in my DNA, it's there, but it wasn't there at the beginning. I'll tell you the mistake I made. Okay, so this will give you an idea of where the project is. This is the Little River watershed. And it takes up most of East Windsor and parts of Tecumseh And right now, as you know, there is an explosion of development. And you can blame the battery plant if you like, but that was the first. I'm telling you, you know how government works, you know, those old rusty wheels don't work.
Tell me about it.
They had, yeah, you would know, with the mayor announced that project. I'm driving down Manning Road, dropping off, Vanwell, and dropping off my granddaughter, and I look right, there's the hydro crew putting the poles up. The next day, trees are coming down. I'm thinking, that's overnight. They must have kept that as a big secret. We're gonna better, send the guys up. When did that ever happen when you were sick?
Well, because of it, because it didn't just slow.
Boy, you got friends here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to the next slide because this is the one I can spend a lot of time on. But not too much time. I don't even know.
You got it, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Good?
You're good. Good for a few.
Okay. So this is a finer view of the watershed. This, I'm going to go through it with you. This is Hush Island. And the mouth of the river is right there. And this red here, you'll notice it's the most important part, the priority, the priorities for restoration. That's the old channel of Little River. It's at the end of Little River Road, Hope Hill. There's the old channel. It's called an oxbow because, as you can see, engineers like to go in straight lines and 90-degree angles. But they love that stuff. So they fixed the river. They flooded. Well, they left the old channel, and that's the part I was comfortable adopting, and it was contained, and I liked it. It was workable, but we put together a group. I always it was a good group. It was great. It was perfect timing, and they said, no, we should adopt a watershed. No, I don't want to do that. I just want to focus on this nice little natural area. It is a priority. It fell on deaf ears. They forced me to go along with adopt a watershed. Okay. You know what? It's probably one of the best things I ever did. It was a really, well, it still is an experience. I'm going to follow the river. Right here is the Canadian Tire store. And just north of that, I don't know who gets these ideas. There was a glass dump. They filled in the channel of the river. Great, we don't have to dig a hole, we just fill it in here. And for about half a mile, there was a couple of soccer fields. They piled glass, and of course, there are people who collect glass bottles. So there they go. They're in there, they're digging, they got these little holes, you know, the old Coke bottles, dozens of them. They used to give out pharmaceutical products in glass. So that was kind of like disgusting too, you know, but what was the solution? There was a solution that environmental departments like. Bury it, dump the clay on top, put the grass seed there, gone, it's done. I have to live with that because that's what they did. And I don't agree with it, but the expense of taking in a backhoe in there and cleaning out the glass is too much, so. That's just one thing. I don't complain about much of it. Anyway, the Canadian Tire store here. That was the site where the shopping carts were. And you talk about frustration. We would go there once a year, sometimes twice a year, and we would pull out shopping carts. Like, where are they coming from? The record. Well, I was just one. Walmart,
Kmart, Wolf over
Kmart,
there.
Wolfco, just go down Tecumseh Road, people would go shopping, take them home. Wow, just leaving there. They end up, the kids take them to get over the river, you need a bridge. So they would have the shopping cart bridge, and they'd come over and go shopping, it's the kids that were doing it, they were having fun, and I agree, you know. It's fun. The record, 68 shopping carts Saturday. 68. Amazing. We put them in the Canadian Tire parking lot. And the CAW, at the time, they had a truck and a trailer. And so we piled them on there and took them back to Kmart, Walmart. We don't want those. Well, they're yours. It's got your name on it. It's your ticket. They're all muddy. Yeah. They wouldn't take them. No store. What are we gonna do now? Well, somebody came up with a great idea, computers for kids, and why don't we recycle it? We'll get the money from the recycle. Hey, great idea. And so I think the first time, we only did it once, we hosed them down and cleaned them up, but that left a big pile of mud in the Canadian Tire parking, which was kind of rude, so we didn't want to do that. It's filled up. So we just took them to the recycle place and we started getting $50, $75, $100. Well, guess who got wind of that? The stores. Hey, you can't do that. Well, they snuffed us. You can't recycle them either. Well, you won't take them. You won't let us recycle them. So we got a little frustrated. So I think the city came up with a plan. They would take them, and I don't know what they did. They probably recycled. Anyway, that was in here. Now, when I practice at home, it was a lot easier. This is Little River Golf Course in here. It's where I learned how to golf. Well, actually, I didn't learn too well. My dad took me golfing there. I went with the Legion 255 veterans. Oh boy, I was like 14 or 15. But did I get an education there? They did have war stories, but they talked about other stuff too. And I had my coat. They were drinking their beer. They buy around. You're like, oh yeah. And so every round I got a Coke. And they said, wow, you drink a lot of Coke. But at the time, I could have said, yeah, you drink a lot of beer, but I was and I loved being with them. I went on golf tournaments with them too. I just had a good time with my dad, and actually, one is still alive, Charlie Davis, family friend. He's 101 up there. He used to take us all over. He did barbecues, and he was a character, still is. But boys, he got a good memory. 101, just amazing. Good man. I think I've got this in the wind too. You know, people tell me things, and I think Little River is going to end up being a stormwater retention area, and they need it bad. That issue, that's a major issue with people, especially if you live in Riverside. Your basement gets 2 or 3 feet of water, you're not a happy person. And they want to do something about that. So basically they oversize sewers. I mean, the sewer could be working like this, but they've got them made like this now to take all this influx of water. But it's so bad now, they need to have a big pond, and they have 2 big ponds at Blue Heron. That in order for them to put houses there, they have to dig a big hole in the ground and take the dirt and build up where the houses are going and where the stormwater can go for a while, and then it releases slowly. So it looks like the golf course is headed that way. Now you'll notice there's a lot of yellow here. I mean, it's a little low on the priority list, but that area, Twin Oaks Golf Course, the city bought Twin Oaks Golf Course. Paid an enormous price for it, but they wanted it for industrial land, and that's where it's turned into, and that's where we went And we cleaned up, I know you guys cleaned up the alley, oh, man, they had rugs. Couches, chairs, tables, it was party village, they just had a great time in there, and then we came along, took it all away, rolled out the carpet. There was one pull-out bed there. The kids, I said, yeah, let's get this up, and in order to pull it out, they pulled out the bed. Oh, mice, there must have been 100 of them. Well, why wouldn't they live there? Because it was nice and cozy, it was nicely puffed up, and the kids were catching them, and oh, look at this. Yeah, okay, admire it. It was crazy, we did clean it up, but that was an area too, where the 4x4 guys went in, and boys, they were dripping. Trough, oh. They were driving 4x4 trucks in there. And they just had a great time, okay? I know, it must be fun. Boy, they were ripping up everything. If there was what you could call habitat for animals, it was not a good thing, so. How do you stop it? They talked about putting cameras in there. They put the cement, things they put on the highway, they put them along the road. They drove around them. You're talking 4x4 guys. And away they go. The only reason it stopped is because somebody bought the land and put it as a trucking, parking truck and trailers, and they put a fence up. Can't get around it. So that was a good idea. That was Twin Oaks. Then we come to. You can see this is the natural river, right? It's going meandering back and forth. So that's still there because it's basically farmland. And then we come to the airport. And this is the topic that I chose today. The provincially significant wetlands. What that is basically a swamp. It's trees growing in a marsh. But the marsh doesn't stay a marsh all year. Anywhere in Essex County, you can go into a wood plot in April, you're gonna need waders. It's wet. And it's wet for a couple of months, and then it dries out. And then it gets really dry. But once a year, maybe twice a year, heavy rainfall, it turns into a swamp again. But the trees, when it's dry, they suck it all up. These trees are used to being flooded, and they're used to drought. And so they're healthy, they grow like crazy, except if you're an ash tree. The emerald ash borer did a job on us, and I had plantations where we planted 100% ash. I went back to check it out, but Mother Nature took care of it. All our trees are dead, but she introduced all kinds of trees that were growing, it was fine. If you leave her alone, she does well. So it's called candidate natural. How am I gonna, how did I forget that? Candidate natural heritage site. It's number 39, and there's 3 of them. A, B, C, and the other one is the St. Louis Woodlot. It's Lozon Parkway. It's right beside the parkway, but the IRCA includes it with the one on the airport property. But I mean, in reality, he could go in there and clear it. But what he did do is he took out all the old ash trees that died, big firewood or whatever. So we're interested in it because the canopy opened right up. And what's growing there now? Hey, those seeds from those plants, they were sitting there, and now we're getting oak trees and other good hardwood deciduous trees are growing. So it's actually improved the woodlot if you like hardwoods, and there's not too many evergreens. There's only 2 evergreens that grow in Essex County, and that's the white pine. Point Pelee, that's a beautiful. The only reason Point Pelee is there because the Royal Navy wanted the trees for the masts of the ships. So they saved it. Used to be a naval reserve. But if you ever seen a white pine, you can understand. Straight, and solid. So it worked. And the other one is red cedar, but it's not really a cedar, it's something else. So those are the only two trees, and you'll see a lot of red cedars along fence lines because birds eat the seeds and deposit the seed along the fence line. So it's a lot of white cedars along fence lines. There are two other natural candidate heritage sites, one here, and that is the I call it the Uri Farm, 1854, but it's really called Fairbairn Woods. And the other one is Sundrop Bend. And the only reason these things are there is because the farmer it's low. He probably tried to farm it, but it floods. It stays wet because that's why the trees are there. So they figured that out. They've left them alone. And later on, I'll show you a slide, which I'll wait for it. I'm going to go continue down the river. Now, there comes a point in time where this nice meandering river turns into straight lines, 90-degree angles. They're called drainage ditches. 5 more minutes. Okay, let's move on. Very quickly. Pesh Island is the mouth, and then out here you can see Highway 3, and there's a woodlot out there. This is the source of Little River, and basically it's 90 degrees going down. We were at Weston Park, which is in the watershed, and we viewed it. And while we were there, we were swarmed by dragonflies, hundreds. And we're trying to talk, and they're flying all over us. Well, it's turned out we kept it as our logo. We used the dragonfly, and I went to Sue Thompson.
And property backs up to us.
Oh,
My business.
oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, the drain runs right through the middle of my parking lot.
Okay, yeah, it was a drain, and then they filled it in.
Yeah, but,
And I kind of was disappointed.
and
but-
then it opens and then it closes.
Right.
But anyways, interesting.
Yeah, that's progress, I guess. Well, I went to Sue Thompson and I said, here, can you draw a dragonfly? Well, how do you do that? I don't know, you're the artist, you figure it out. Well, and she did, and she designed that for us. So very quickly. We're zoning in on the airport. These are the 3. Oh, I should mention this one. Is that the time? Oh. There's my that was a success. Very quickly, I'll go through. We got permission from the airport manager to go plant on the airport shrubs only. Oh, yeah, okay, that's fine. We can plant shrubs. So we did. 2 months later, I get a phone call. Somebody cut down the shrubs. The contractor went in there and mowed the grass that was there before, so he just mowed the grass again, and he mowed the shrubs. So I sent a letter to the airport manager. I gave him a week. I didn't bide my time. You got a week at Windsor Star. And then we did a feature. Oh, he was cheesed out. Oh, I got the camper. And Urca was the one that supplied the trees. He wasn't happy with me either. So I'm kind of used to people. I do things, and they get, you cut down our shrubs. Well, we wanted to plant trees, right? Well, guess what they planted? 100 trees. Hey, we won, really. Eh? And it's nice and natural. Well, we did this too. This drain is important. These drains are going to become very important for runoff because they're going to, you don't see the solar panel field, the farm, whatever they call it. But those drains are going to become very important. This we planted, Urca, $10,000 worth of trees. Beautiful. We got them connected. That's our goal, to connect it all. And you get another phone call. They plowed the trees on. Oh, I'm not surprised, we've had it happen before. We were planning to do that. That got at the city hall, he said, no way, man. But I'll switch to the next one. This is why I couldn't come last month. I was putting input into the official plan amendment. It's no longer an amendment. It's law now. That's just the way it's going to go. So you could, I'll finish with this. So, proposed industrial areas. Okay, there's the proposed industrial area. Also, it is proposed regional park. All right. And then they're going to be connected. Fantastic. Well, what are you going to do? Which one? There's a little bit of well, if the city wins, this will be industrial park. But I don't think it's going to happen. You know, they've got to understand that there's a 120-meter buffer zone around each of these. There's a Erie Farm and that Sun Drop Bend. This is the Greenway Fund that we can connect. And from my point of view, that would look great as just being planted as trees, but it's, you know, you can put soccer fields in there. That's another thing you can do in a buffer zone. But this is going to become a hot potato. I mean, what is it? You're going to do industrial in between the two woodlots? They need to be connected. Well, we are going to connect it. Well, okay. There'll be a building in between? Who knows? I don't know. And that's phase 2, which gives us a lot of time. Might be, I don't know how fast they're going to develop the airport. But this is all going to be connected. It actually is a good plan, but that's going to be a sort of. This is at the end of it. It's a quote, and I read it, and I feel what we've done over the last 34 years, we've always been a small. And the first quote says it all, but this one too. I went there and saw the garbage. Where do I go? So we sat down as a group and figured it out. We'll clean it up. Yeah, makes sense to me now, but I needed a lot of guidance and help. I still do, but we have a very small group of dedicated people now. And because I'm been retired, I can't get a class to go out and clean it up, and you get the coverage. My wife's relative in London phoned her up and said, hey, Ian's on the news, CBC National News. Oh, wow. It's the kids. They went out there, and when we started, I guess it was the vanguard of it, but now it's ho-hum. If I call up the media now, if we have a slow day, we're sure. Okay. But the oil spill really got things going. That I got a phone call from the start. They phoned me. Did you know there was an oil spill? No, I didn't know that, but I went down right away and I talked to the guys that were working on it. And I thought, yeah, you know, it's that sheen on top of the water. That they put the booms up. You collect stuff. And then of course the booms are wide open at the end. The oil goes around. Okay, do what you can, take what you can get off, but it'll be interesting. Who did it? Okay, I'm gonna cut there, because I've been told. Yes.
I wonder how it affects the area that you're talking about with Windsor Airport now. How is it gonna affect where they're building a hospital? And what they're talking about, the extension of Lozon Parkway. Aren't they gonna need some of those green land to put that kind of stuff there? Wonder how they affect it, good or bad.
Yeah, there's the hospital. These homes have been taken over. The city just said, you're moving on, we want the land, bingo, that's
Right.
it. So the hospital will be there, The battery plant is over here.
Can I add one more thing to that? There's, go off the side of the 8th concession this way and down, is a already approved housing development for affordable housing that is like thousands of units. And that's between the 7th and the 8th concession going down to the 40, like towards the 401.
No, but Ian's talking about greening those.
No, and I'm
spaces,
just
right?
telling you, if we
They're
don't
supposed to put a
green
highway.
that part, all the rest of this.
Folks gotta do a
farmland-
timeout here
Yeah,
because
sorry.
we're running very close on time. Bob, would you come up and do the honors, please?
So we don't know.
Ian, your talk was remarkable. You've, as you can tell, we are also interested in a lot of the projects that, Little River has done over the years. Thank you very much
Oh,
for
you
your
bet.
your
Yeah.
talk.
Sure,
Thank you.
thank you.
Kids are young enough or old enough?
We gotta go.
Okay,
Your dad has my email. Let's continue that.
Yeah.
Then we can share cell phone numbers and then we can.
and
we-
maybe get together for coffee.
Yes,
About
perfect,
All right.
perfect.
All right.
I'll get you the email address, don't worry.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, Dad, yeah.
Bye, guys.
I love
Have a
seeing you.
great-
Love
Great
seeing
job.
you.
Thank
Yeah,
you. It's
thank you.
Thank you.
You-
Bye-bye.
you were part of the history.
I am so glad I was.
I'm gonna pass the torch to you.
Oh, boy.
Well,
Take care. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Email.